What is going on, everybody? Welcome in. It's the Pickswise High Stakes Line Movement Show here. I'm trying to come up with a good, clever name for it. I can't. It's the former Wager Alarm live stream. I'm Howard Bender. With me, of course, Craig Mish, and we are under the Pickswise banner here, but we're going to keep this show going strong right here on the Fantasy Alarm YouTube page. So that's where you can find us on the regular. Craig Mish here by my side. What's going on, Craig? How are you? Coming off of a nice week, buddy.
We are having a really nice season here on our live stream, and we have a few weeks to go. Very proud of our results this season, especially in the Supercontest. We are right now currently in the top 200. We are basically, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 2 games away from cashing in the Supercontest for the first time that we've done this. We are 37, 27, and 1. We are approximately 58% on the season, so this is our best record that we've ever had doing it. And the Supercontest is 5 picks each and every week against the spread in the NFL, and we've been basically since November really turning it up. We were kind of middling around 500 for a long time, but this is such a big challenge, and very proud of the results that we've had thus far. The other contest that we're in the Golden Nugget contest, we are 46, 44, and 1, so we are 2 games over 500. We're basically middle of the pack in terms of all the contestants, so we have some work to do there, and we have until January to figure that one out. But at the end of the season, for those of you who tailed us, in the end, if you bet every single game, and you bet, I don't know, $5 or 5,000, 5,000, you made yourself a lot of money, and $5 you made yourself a little. But everybody has their own budget, Howard, for doing this. But feel good about giving out good advice. That's definitely the case.
Feel good about giving out good advice as well. And hey, listen, you know what? The end of the season, it's actually been pretty good to us over the last couple of years,
Yeah.
right? We've been, so Westgate does that mini contest at the end where they do like the final, was it 3 or 4 weeks of the season, and the best record. There's like a little mini payment
Sure.
thing going on over there. So I feel really good about it. Listen, we had again 4-3 in the Golden Nugget last week. We lost 2 of our college games. I mean, do we want to rehash that? Alabama beat the snot out of Georgia.
Crazy. Yeah.
Right. And now they're like I don't get how they're still the top seed. Like it's Alabama versus Cincinnati. It's going to be Michigan versus Georgia.
Yep.
Whatever. Michigan blows out Iowa. We got blown out of the water on that one too. So we lost those 2. We did win Utah State, who has been very, very good to us all season long.
Yeah, it has. And look, transparently speaking, in terms of the Golden Nugget, we're going to finish in terms of our college picks. There's a lot of bowl games here to go. There's 42 bowl games coming up here, but in all likelihood, we're going to finish right around 500. I would say that our record in the college picks is better this year than last year, but not as good as we were 2 years ago. Remember, in the Golden Nugget, we were coming down to the wire with a real chance to cash. So, I wouldn't say that it's necessarily over yet, but we're basically 4 games away from being on the cut line in terms of cashing. But again, having 50 people ahead of us here, you got to go contrarian on a lot of selections, but not so much in the Supercontest. In the Supercontest, the Westgate, if we basically run this thing 3-2, 4-1 the rest of the season, we got an excellent chance to cash. Interestingly enough, there was a decent percentage of people, Howard, that had New England last night. And so we actually dropped about 30 spots. So 30 people moved ahead of us having New England. I was actually surprised to see that. Not a lot of people usually side on the Monday night game, but road dogs are coming in like a historic rate. And so I probably should have known that going in.
Thanks a lot, Craig. Where were you there? Right? You only dazzled us with Pittsburgh and Seattle and those picks last week. Right?
I mean, the dirty picks are definitely coming in like crazy.
How great was that, man?
And we'll get into it, but when we get to our picks, let's finish off the Nugget. But we basically were one football in a player's hands away from a 5-0 last week. Like then on the last play of the game, we were right there for a 5-0. So can't feel terribly bad about it.
No, we would have gone 5-2 in the Nugget had that same player caught that football. That was so 1-2 in college last week. We picked 4 pro games. The Falcons getting 11 points. That was the game.
That was the
That
game.
was the game. Falcons covering the spread the entire game. Just could not. That final, they just couldn't backdoor cover it. Tampa kicks that late field goal, and that
Yeah.
sunk us. Sunk us.
Yeah, and that pick you really can't feel bad for a number of reasons because if Leonard Fournette rushes for a first down, Tampa Bay runs the clock out, we cover. If Russell Gage catches the touchdown in the back of the end zone, which was right in his hands with no time left, we cover. So sometimes you'll look at a game like Alabama versus Georgia. Like Georgia, that was a bad pick. That was the wrong side. But then you look at a pick like Atlanta, and you have to remind yourself, okay, the Falcons are probably not that good. It's not going to feel great taking them. But keep also in mind, Tampa Bay should not have covered that game. So, just something to file away for the future. Next road game, laying a lot of points. Those are things you think about down the road.
Yeah. All right. Finishing off the Nugget, the Eagles, -7 against the Jets. That was rock solid. Jets made you nervous till about the midway through the second quarter, and then you were like, okay, we're good.
Yeah. Jets actually had the ball in the fourth quarter with about 8 minutes left, with sort of a chance to maybe cover, but you're right. Once it got to late third, you never really felt like it was in doubt. So, Jets are one of those teams that you could fade down the stretch most likely.
Yeah, and we will probably take a look at that. Chargers +3. Chargers, road dog, take them every
Money
time,
in the bank.
right?
Money
Why
in the
not?
bank. Yeah.
Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. And then the Steelers +4.5 cover the spread against the Ravens, who continuously shot themselves in the foot throughout that game as well. So felt great about that, and that put us at 4-3 in the Nugget.
Yep.
And then we used those 4 games: Falcons, Eagles, Chargers, and Steelers in the Supercontest, which put us at 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Seahawks against San Francisco once again. And I got to tell you, man, I was very happy to go back at people who were giving me a bunch of crap for taking Seattle and just saying to them flat out, I wasn't giving them any kind of breakdown or any kind of analysis. I asked that one question. If San Francisco's so good and Seattle is so bad, why is it only 3.5? You cannot tell me that, that's not a fishy spread.
Yeah, you've come a long way, Mr. Bender. Yes, that's definitely that's definitely the view on it, and honestly, the view on the Bengals, the Chargers too. Looking back on that game now, Cincinnati just destroys Pittsburgh, and off that one win, they become all of a sudden a 3-point favorite over the Chargers, who I would probably argue are a better team than the Bengals. It just didn't make sense at all. And then you look at this week, Howard. The Bengals are only 1 against San Francisco. Wait a second here. How did that happen? The Bengals were just 3 against last week. The Bengals were just 3 against the Chargers. Now against a team we think is worse, they're only 1. It is. If you really pay attention every week, you can find these lines. And look, they don't always come in. Let's get real. But you can get yourself somewhere between 50, 55%, 60%. Just sort of riding the wave of things that look off and ignoring what you saw the week before. And that's going to be my focus this week too, because it seems to be working. If Howard, if we come on here and by the end of the live stream, we're able to just basically take teams, fade teams that won big and back teams that lost big, not named Houston, of course, there's exceptions to the rule. Then I think we're going to be more on the winning side than the losing side. This league is insane, man. Nothing matters that happened the week before.
All right. Well, that being said, we usually start with the Thursday game.
Yeah,
I have another game I got to start with.
Yeah. Okay. You don't want to do Thursday? You want to do something else?
I do want to do Thursday.
Okay.
But there's a game that's just gnawing at me.
Okay.
Over and over again. And I think I texted you about it the other day.
Denver?
No, Craig, What am I going to do here with the Chargers as a 10.5 point favorite at home? Was it the Giants They have no quarterback now. Jake
I
Fram is
know.
supposed to be their guy. Sterling Shepard could be out still. Kadarius Toney could be out still. I mean, this is the game. I'm not gonna lie, Craig. This game has kept me up all night long since the spread was released, and I just don't know what to do about it. I'm freaking out. It's the universe messing with me.
Well, I mean, it's backing the Giants or nothing. I mean, that's what we've learned. I mean, we can't. We either have to do one of those two things. We've learned already the Chargers don't cover as favorites. Look, they covered against the Eagles as a 2.5 point favorite. They kicked a field goal at the end of the game and they won by 3. That's it. That's the season of covering for the Chargers as a favorite. So I'm sorry. It doesn't matter if Phil Simms is quarterbacking the Giants. I mean, I just can't do it. I can't lay 10 with the Chargers.
But I'd feel better about backing the Giants if Phil Simms was actually the quarterback and not Jake Fram.
Was good. He was good at college. I mean, maybe he's okay. I mean, it's not unreasonable. He can't be worse than the guy that played last week, can he?
Well, I mean, Glennon, the lankiest guy ever. Well, that game's keeping me up at night, Craig.
It's a rough game to call because you know what? I'll tell you, if the Giants had zero quarterback, but Barkley looked good, I would say, hey, Chargers still can't stop anybody on the ground. It hasn't happened all year. Let's just take the Giants, But Barkley looks terrible. Barkley looks like David Johnson did a couple years ago in his career. I mean, his career is probably over.
He didn't look that bad this past week.
Barkley? Oh, he's not.
I'm sure he's not, what he once was, but. Yeah, all right. So let's go back to Thursday night. I had to get that off my chest. I mean, again, it's giving me agita, Craig, like nobody's business.
Thursday night is the perfect storm.
Thursday night is the perfect storm.
Is the perfect storm. You have the Steelers that won because Lamar Jackson couldn't hit Mark Andrews, right? That's the only reason why. And that there are only 3-point dogs. You have the Vikings they're giving no respect to whatsoever, because they just lost to Detroit off last week's game. So you have the team that covered versus the team that didn't, and there is only one way you can go in this game Thursday night, and that would be to take the Vikings based on what has happened all season long. Forget the Vikings. Don't get upset. They're probably, honestly, the Vikings are probably much better than the Steelers. They probably are, but because the Steelers, this dude Andrews drops the ball, they're only 3. If Minnesota beats Detroit, this line is 6. It's 5. It's 5.5. I mean, it's true. So I don't know if I doubt we're gonna pick this for the contest, but this is a very clear-cut game for me. I'm definitely on Minnesota this week on Thursday.
I like it. I like it a lot. Oh yeah. All right. Let's get to the Sunday action here. Maybe. Let's see. Maybe we feel good about a couple of these games.
I do feel good already about a couple.
All right. Well, is one of them Dallas against Washington? As Washington's a 3.5 point underdog at home.
I don't know. Dallas is, laying with Dallas again. Never really a great thing. Both teams coming off ATS wins, so there's not really a trend that we've been seeing work there. I probably would lean Dallas only because. Again, Washington. So here is the dumb analysis. Washington's good. They've won this many games in a row. The kicker for Washington, if he trips running to kick the ball, or he kicks it 6 feet to the left, the Raiders win that game last week, and we're back down on Washington again, going, oh, they're not good. They can't. Oh, they lost to the Raiders. But because this guy kicks a field goal, all of a sudden that makes Washington really good, and I'm not buying Washington at all, but that being said, I hate laying with Dallas, so we may have to this week in some contest, but for right now, I don't really see an edge. I would lean Dallas.
No, I agree. I think, again, it's, I don't have the trust in Taylor Heineke. I really don't. If it was a better quarterback, maybe, I don't like the hook. The hook is a little unnerving, but it's a matter of whether or not Dallas's defense can really, listen, they're like 3rd in the league in turnovers. So as far as like takeaways go, so
they just haven't looked outside of that game against Atlanta. They
haven't looked good.
They haven't looked that good against New Orleans. They didn't look that good either.
No. Tennessee, they are a home favorite, 9.5 points over the Jaguars. I can't invest in the Jaguars. I could see a backdoor cover here because I don't think Tennessee is any good. I really don't. I could see the backdoor cover easily here, but there's just so much about Jacksonville that I just can't get behind right now. They don't look like a cohesive unit either. Um, so I'll lean Jacksonville here, but I probably don't want to bet this.
Yeah, me too. The thing with Tennessee, it's like if they're laying 9.5 and they have Derrick Henry, so we know how that game's going to go in the end. And by the way, you notice what the Colts did this week as opposed to the week against Jacksonville. They gave Taylor all those carries in the second half this time, and in addition to the first half, which they just stopped against Jacksonville. Indianapolis did when we took them -10 2 weeks ago. This week they were like, why are we going to stop doing what we're doing? Let's continue it. Smart move. They win 31-0. No backdoor cover for Houston. So that's the problem. That's the problem with Tennessee is like, okay, so Tennessee is up on Jacksonville, 26-7, something like that. Very similar, let's say, to the Rams game last week. It is unlikely that 2 weeks in a row a team is going to throw their way to run out the clock. It just doesn't happen like that. Kid Hilliard looked really good a couple of weeks ago. I'm not really sure what their story is with Foreman or if McNichols is back or what they're doing there. But
no, McNichols is still dealing with COVID. Foreman's going to be the lead back. Yeah, Foreman's going to be the lead back with Dontrell Hilliard as the third down pass catcher.
Yeah, so if they're up big, can they run it out? Do you trust Tannehill to run it out? I really don't. I'm with you. I would be leaning Jacksonville for sure this week.
All right. Seattle, they take that big victory over San Francisco, and they make their way down to Houston as a 7.5-point road favorite.
Yeah, too bad.
Davis Mills for Houston.
Terrible game. Probably a pass. I don't know. I'm not backing Houston again, but Seattle is 7.5 based on what? One game? Not backing Houston though. I think Houston. I don't ever like to say teams have quit. I think Houston will lose significantly the rest of the season. I think that's it. They had a couple of wins there, and they looked good early on the season. Now it's just done.
Okay. The money line is there's a little more juice on taking Houston with the points. I'm seeing. So.
Yeah, I mean, but listen, when we get down to Friday, we may have to take these teams. But for me, I don't want to lay a touchdown with the Seahawks.
No.
Thank you. I wouldn't take Houston either.
AFC West battle here as the Raiders travel to Kansas City.
Yep.
Kansas City's a home favorite. They're -9 to the Raiders. So, all right. I mean, if we go by the logic that we've gone through, right? Yes. Now, Kansas City has not covered very often, or if at all, even.
Well, last week they did.
Last week they did. So they've been horrible against the spread, normally. Everybody says there's something off with their offense. There's something wrong with it. The Raiders, they lose Kenyon Drake, but Jacobs looks fine. You've got, Derek Carr passing the ball here. I think a lot of action is going to come in on the Raiders, which kind of almost makes me want to take Kansas City, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. First of all, the Raiders are extremely unpredictable from week to week. I mentioned that if that field goal goes to the left, the Raiders are probably only a 7-point dog to Kansas City, but because they lost off a kick, they are. And on top of it, I would like to just remind everyone that 2 weeks ago on Thanksgiving, the Raiders go into Dallas and win the game outright and then lose at home to Washington, right? So who's to say, I'll tell you, that they can't beat Kansas City in Kansas City. I think they got a chance to do it. I like the Raiders.
Ooh.
Definitely like the Raiders this week. This is too many points for this Jekyll and Hyde team.
City? It is. Okay.
I think this is too much. You're right. Kansas City has not looked good. And look, I mean, Denver, if they just throw the ball a little bit against Kansas City last week, they cover for sure, but they're just horribly coached. And yeah, I think this is too many. I think by the time it kicks off on Sunday, the Raiders are 7.5.
Okay. I mean, if it goes down like that, I mean, that would be
not good.
Not good. Not good if you want to take the Raiders. I want the 9. We'll have to see what happens. That's why I love the fact that these lines lock on a Wednesday.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs will still be formidable. But would it stun anyone to see the Raiders go to Kansas City and win? It would not shock me at all. What is Waller's status, by the way?
Still up in the air.
Yeah,
Still
that's a key
questionable.
name to have in that game.
Yeah. All right. Saints visiting the Jets. The Saints are a 5-point favorite. See, that look on my face says that you want to take the Jets in this one here.
I sort of do. I put them in that same category as Houston, where it's like really hard to trust.
Mm-hmm.
But the Saints are playing so bad, and I mean the line is sort of saying don't screw yourself and just take the Saints and close your eyes and do it. You can't look at home road here. It really is irrelevant. I know the line
Mm-hmm.
moved down. It was New Orleans -6, and now it's 5. I guess some love for the Jets here, but I mean New Orleans and Philadelphia are similar, I think, in nature. Philadelphia is probably a couple of ticks ahead of the Saints, but this could be on our radar. I guess Friday we'll check back on it. I'm curious. I need to do more research on this game.
All right. Falcons, they are traveling to Carolina, another NFC South battle. Carolina is favored by 3. Cam Newton and the woeful Falcons. Who do you like?
Well, you know what they always say, Howard. We got to go with the fired offensive coordinator narrative, right? No, I'm just
Was it the fired offensive coordinator narrative? Is that really? Is that
Does that
dude?
exist? Does that exist? I don't know.
I
Sell
don't
did
know.
that.
Do you try to build off of that?
I mean, they didn't. Did the Giants did cover after they fired Garrett, right? The next week, did they? Did they win?
Did they? I don't even know.
I know they didn't this week. I think they did the week before, though. If I'm
I'm
not
gonna have to
mistaken.
look it up. The Giants. When did they fire? When did they fire
They
Garrett?
played 2 games without Garrett.
Okay. So, all right, yeah. Then they. I don't know what the spread was. They beat the Eagles.
That they beat the Eagles.
They
Okay,
beat
right.
the Eagles 13-7, and then lost to the Dolphins this past
Yeah,
week.
I don't know. You know me. I kind of like taking Atlanta a lot and just punching myself in the face. But I mean, Carolina is coming off the bye. Home field sort of means nothing. Cam Newton looked terrible. Falcons are probably this game's probably coming right down to the end. I don't know. No strong opinion on this.
We'll wait till it's 2.5 and then figure it out. Go for which kicker we like. Young Hoku.
Who is
Right?
Carolina's kicker these days?
I don't even
Joey
know who
Sly?
their kicker.
Sounds like
No. They let Sly go.
I know it's not Graham Gano. That guy was money in the bank.
No, Graham Gano's with the Giants now. I can't remember who the Panthers kicker is nowadays.
John Casey.
John.
Wasn't he the kicker in the Super Bowl or something?
I think he was the kicker of the Super Bowl. It's Casey with a K, right? Casey.
Yeah.
Damn. I'm like now I'm obsessed with figuring out who it's
Carolina
gonna be.
kicker. We've just had everybody hit fast forward on our YouTube stream.
Nobody's hitting fast for because they're like it's so and so, and I have no idea who so and so is. But I will say that I can find it
forget
right
it.
now, and here you go. It is Zane Gonzalez.
Zane Gonzalez, my favorite kicker in the NFL.
Really, is he?
No.
Is he? All right. Next game is Ravens going to the visiting Browns. Browns are favored by 2.5 here.
Wrong team favored. By the time Sunday comes, Ravens are a favorite. Don't be fooled because they lost a game last week. We'll take Baltimore very happily if we can get points with them.
If we can
Kidding
get
me?
points.
Getting points with the Ravens? Are you nuts? Like that's the best bet in football. But we probably will not be able to get points by tomorrow. But if we are, we take Baltimore.
All right. We'll skip over Giants Chargers. Don't need to discuss that anymore, although it's still weighing very heavily on my mind.
Very heavy. I'm very worried about you that game is weighing very heavily on it. Listen. It's very simple. We're either taking the Giants or we're not doing it. That's it.
Right. No, I understand that. But listen, I'm so much more invested in it here, you know? Like I mean it's everything about the Chargers and the team that I like. I've got the Chargers at 40-1. I've got a ticket that says 40-1 that they're going to win the Super Bowl.
They're definitely they have a chance.
But my wife is a huge Giants fan, and when the Giants, win or at least cover, and we are on that side, then she's a little bit more, well, let's just say amorous
I'll
when
tell
her
you,
Giants do well.
I don't mind taking the. Well, I know who Jake Fromm is. Okay, I mean, I watched him play at Georgia for 4 years, but I don't mind taking the unknown quarterback. I really don't. I've seen more often than not, like we like tend to go, oh, they're playing a guy who's never played. He's a practice squad guy, and the guy comes in, and he's like decent. So, I mean, Mike White started for the Jets and looked really good.
David
Right?
Blau on Thanksgiving.
So let's not. I would not just discard this.
I'm not discarding it. I'm thinking about it constantly.
All right, so we'll take the Giants. I'm good with it. I'm good with it.
Detroit visiting Denver. Here's two of our absolute favorite teams.
Yeah.
And how is Denver an 8-point favorite?
I have no idea. I must be missing something. This line is the messed up line of the week for me. I don't get it. Denver's obviously going to win by 30 because how in the world can the Broncos be 8-point favorites over anyone in the NFL? Like, this is a stunning line to me here. And Detroit's played competitive against a lot of teams.
Like, they just won.
Denver
they just won their first game against Minnesota.
Something is up. We're definitely got to be careful on this one. The sucker bet is it's got to be taking Detroit. Something is off. Yeah. We may even take Denver this week.
We might have to take Denver just to do it.
The line is wacko. Someone needs to explain this one to me. Don't get it at all. By the way, wasn't Minnesota just 7-point favorites over Detroit?
Over Detroit.
Now Denver is 8? I don't get it. Don't understand it. I mean, wouldn't you agree?
It's the Javonte Williams overreaction.
Let me ask you, if Minnesota played Denver head-to-head, neutral site, out of 10 times, how many times would you take Minnesota? At least 6.
At least 6. At least.
It doesn't make sense at all. Anyway.
It doesn't make sense either.
No.
49ers, they are traveling to Cincinnati. The Bengals are a 1-point home favorite.
Very tough one to call. Kind of want to take Cincinnati and buy the low here because I'm not. I like backing San Francisco. I don't think they're that bad, but I kind of feel like Cincinnati was their like their loan for the rest of the season terrible game, and I feel like they'll be around 500 the rest of the season. I would lean towards Cincinnati. And this one is a good buy low. But you could say the same thing about San Francisco buying low as well.
Yes, you could. Yes, you could, especially coming off of that Seattle game.
Definitely.
Definitely. Tampa Bay.
Keep in mind, Seattle also handed the game to San Francisco. The Gerald Everett definitely took the other team in that game. Am I wrong?
No. How many times can you fumble at the goal?
I mean, Gerald Everett, they threw the ball at him, and not only did he not catch it, he tipped it up in the air to the other team.
Here you go, guys.
And then they handed the ball off on the one, and he fumbled. And he's looking on the sidelines all mad. Okay.
Tampa Bay hosted the Buffalo Bills. Tampa's a 3.5-point favorite here. This here's another one. It's like a head scratcher. It's like the Bucs just come off of whooping the Falcons, right? But did they whoop them or did they just beat them? Right. Falcons could have backdoor cover there. But you look at Brady's numbers at home. I mean, it's ridiculous. He's got like a 115 passer rating, like 20 some odd touchdowns. His home road splits are insane, absolutely insane. And now we look at Buffalo. Like, here's the thing, I mean, this was the Monday night game, right? Like, Belichick just like shoved McDermott in the chest and was like, I'm running the ball all day long. Try to stop me.
Yeah.
And so, like, what does that say about Buffalo and, and their defense? But you got to throw away what you just saw last week.
You have to throw it away.
And you have to come in and you have to look at, Buffalo's a strong passing team, right? And the weakness for Tampa Bay is their secondary. I mean, this the over under of 52.5 right now could be a nice little slugfest. I almost want the Bills as the visiting dog here because I'm also getting that hook.
I kind of feel like Buffalo may be the right play. I kind of feel like it is. I would like to see a 4. I think you may be able to get some push on Tampa before the end of the week. But look, it's very hard to sit here 24 hours from watching what we watched last night and back the team that lost. But that is the recipe to winning, betting in the NFL. So I am with you. I think we'll probably end up taking Buffalo this week. I do. I feel like and I really, by the way, I'm not big on narratives like what the guys talk after the game. I really like the fact that Buffalo seems very angry. Like that to me was good to see that after. Like the coaches and the players were like super mad. I know in the end it really doesn't probably add up to anything, but the fact that they're going to come in pissed and tells me a little bit more about them. So I may have some interest in that.
I like it. The Sunday night game, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, 11.5-point favorites over the visiting Chicago Bears.
Yeah, Rodgers is terrible off a bye against the spread. I didn't know that, but this is a perfect opportunity if you're in a contest and you are sitting in the back to take the Bears and roll the dice, because no one's going to do it. It's very hard to do it. But if they end up covering, you're going to move up significantly, because I just don't think a lot of people are going to bet on this one. I don't think a lot of people are going to want to lay 12.5 with any NFL team. And you'd be buying super low on Chicago. I don't mind it. I don't mind taking the Bears. It's going to be really rough to do it, but it's probably the only way that I would go.
It's the kind of game that we take in the Golden Nugget.
I think it doesn't. You have to be able to make the ugly picks in this, and to me, it would be taking the Bears or taking nothing.
Okay, I'm good with that. And then finally, the Monday Night Football game, Rams-Cardinals, big battle here of the AFC West. Rams are a 2-point dog on the road.
Yeah, I just don't love this game. I think it's going to be a great game Monday night. Could go either way. I really don't have an opinion.
All right. Well, there you go. So that's our initial look right now. Our blush. We'll be back on Friday night, and Craig and I will make our picks now. For the Golden Nugget, I don't know if there's the Army-Navy game, if there are going to be any other college games, but
no, that's it.
All right, so it looks like Craig and I are picking 6 NFL games.
We have to pick 7.
Oh, is the Army-Navy game not even going to be up for?
I mean, we can pick the Army-Navy game if we want, but it's the only it's the only college game. I mean, Army is. That's what I was pulling up as I was looking here. Our Army is -7.5 against Navy. Army is the far superior team, but you know this game, Howard. This is the biggest, baddest, and best rivalry in maybe all of sports. Like it's a really amazing game usually to watch. The kids care so much. I mean, it usually feels like it comes down to a last possession.
I've been to the Army-Navy game. It's phenomenal there.
It's amazing, man. And Navy is terrible this year. I'll have to do a little more research into this before we get there, but the total, Howard, is 34 points in this game. 30.
Then I want Navy. I want to take the points. If it's going to be that low scoring,
Navy's
of course that just
so
means
bad,
Army's going to win 23-0.
By the way, Army got a really good bowl matchup. I want to add, if they could come out healthy out of this, they got a team that never sees the option in Missouri in the SEC. And remember, we took Army a couple of years ago as like our best bet against I think Houston. Ed Oliver, he ended up leaving the team. We have so much transition, by the way, in coaches. I can't even keep up. Like there's like 15 coachless teams. Oregon's best player just left yesterday. Their coach. It's gonna be insane. Anyway, we'll check back Friday.
We'll check back Friday. Big thanks to Matt Sells, our producer tonight, always doing yeoman's work for us in the best possible way. For Craig Mish, I'm Howard Bender. This has been the Pickswise NFL Line Movement live stream, or some other clever name like that, and we'll catch you next time.